Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Habib Ali and I am an ICT tutor by profession. Welcome back to another lesson. In today's lesson we are going to be learning about how to add percentages and values to charts and changing the color of pie chart segments. Okay, we are back on our worksheet called Destinations 2 on the distance worksheet, and we created this lovely pie chart in the previous lesson, or should I say we changed the column chart to this pie chart. Now let's have a look at today's question. The question or questions are: display percentage and destination names to the pie chart segments, change Leeds sector to red, and then on the mileage worksheet add value data labels to the column chart. Okay, so we've got one chart on there, the column chart, and we've got a pie chart on the distance to be adding values, percentages, etc. So today's lesson is all about how to add values to different charts. Let's go ahead and tackle the first two on the pie chart by adding percentages and the destination names and possibly changing the color of Leeds sector to red. So let's have a go. So here we are on the pie chart. Now at the moment you can see it's blank, there is no data, just a lovely pie chart, but it is meaningful without any data labels. We can't understand it, you will not be able to explain it. Now to add data labels to any charts, there are three ways you could do this, and today I'm going to show you all three methods. So the first method is to use the ribbon. So you must click on the chart, and in the ribbon you get chart tools. Now under chart tools there are two tabs, one called design, one called format. We are going to be using the design tab, and under the design tab we need this group here called chart layouts, and this option add chart element. We're going to click on this, and then we get the option for data labels. Now when I go across, these options here are simply the position of where I want my data labels to appear. Not too worried about this at this stage, but I need you to go right to the bottom and click on more data label options. When we do that, we get the options here on the right hand side, and all we have to do now is tick the information we want to have on the pie chart. Now the question was asking us to insert the category name. Now the category name is what, if I take you quickly back to the question, is the destination names. That is what it is representing. So if you go back onto distance, and all I have to do is tick category name. I don't want the value, so I'm going to remove this. I want the percentage, and I don't really need this leader line. Now it wasn't really part of the lesson, but I will explain what this leader line is. It's a very simple thing. If you have a look at Leeds being the smallest segment in the pie, this label did not have enough space to fit in this little area. So what Excel does, or because this option is ticked, what it does, it puts a line from the segment to the label, and we call this line the leader line. That is all that is. Very simple information. Now I'm going to leave that in there for now. So I've got percentages, I've got categories, I'm happy with that, except the position of the labels is inside at the moment. I cannot read it very well. You can see the color of the font and the color of the segments are very similar. So what we can do, this is what earlier when I was talking about the position, I'm going to select outside end. So what Excel will do, it will put it just next to the segments outside around the pie chart. So that looks pretty cool. I'm happy with that. Once you're finished, you simply close this section. This section, we don't need this anymore. And this is the final result. Now, so this is first method of adding data labels to your pie chart. I'm going to show you the other two methods very quickly. So I'm just going to undo till I take everything off. Now the second method to use is next to the pie chart you get these few options. Now the plus sign you can see is actually similar to that plus sign over here, and it's actually the same thing, but it's a quicker way of doing it. You don't need to go to chart tools and then go across in this group called chart layouts. You can simply click on the plus sign, and then it shows you which elements are available to be added or included into this pie chart. We need data labels. So I start by clicking in this box. An arrow is given to me, so that means there are more options across. So I click on the arrow, and again these are the positions. So we'll come to that in a minute, or we can do it later. I go down to more options just like I did before, and it brings me to the same place as before, or the first method. So I go ahead and just tick the information that I want to appear on my pie chart. Again, I'm going to use or select outside end, and once you're done, just like before, you close this section, and here we are. What a lovely pie chart. Now it's a lot more meaningful. You've got the category names, or the destination names we should say, together with the percentage for each of the segments. Now remember, Excel automatically converts the values into the correct percentages. Now if you recall from the mileage worksheet, I just want to take you back to the data source. If you recall, this information has been used to create this chart. Now you can see Leeds is the smallest and Salisbury was the largest figure in terms of distance. So in the pie chart, we should start with Leeds being the smallest and Salisbury being the largest. Let's have a look. So there we are. Now on the pie chart, you can see Leeds is 4%, and 7, 8, 14, 15, 16, 16, and 20%. So it's increasing all the way. So it's a real representation of the information on the mileage worksheet, which we used initially in a few lessons back to create these two lovely charts. Now finally, I'm going to show you the third method. So again, I'm just going to undo and bring it back to the blank without the labels. Now the third method to use to apply data labels to your pie chart or any other chart, you simply first of all right click on the pie chart, and this part is important everyone. You must enable the add data labels first. So just click on it, then the data labels or the values will appear, and then we right click again, and this time we will get this option to format the data labels. If you don't add the labels in first, you will not find this option. So please do remember that point. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Format Data Labels. And what it does, it brings me straight to this section again, just like before. And all I need to do is finish it off by selecting the information I want to appear on the pie chart. Again, the position, I'm going to select outside end, and you can see we come to the exact same result. So all three methods, you will get the same result. It just depends which one you prefer. And that's how you add data labels to a pie chart. Now, before I change this color of the segments, which was one of the questions, I'm going to tackle the third question. This one here on the mileage worksheet, add value data labels to the column chart. Now, on the mileage worksheet, there is our column chart, and we want to add values. Now you can see the values are already there, but you can use all three methods to add them. Now I'm going to first of all click on the chart. I'm going to use this second method that I demonstrated to you just a couple of minutes ago. So I'm going to click on the plus sign and remove the data label. So when I untick this, these values here should disappear. Let's have a look. There we go. So if your chart was blank and you wanted to add the values, you can use any of those three methods. And I repeat, you can use chart tools, and then under chart tools you've got design. Under the design tab, this is the option you need in the charts layout group. So you click on there, you go to data labels, more data label options, and you select on the right hand side, you just tick what you want. Now in this particular one, we want values. Now you probably notice Excel has automatically put a tick next to the value. It is actually a default setting in Excel. So initially when you are adding values to a column chart or even a pie chart, it does add the values in for you automatically. It is a default setting, so please just remember that. So I don't really need to do anything here because the question only wanted me to add values to a column chart, and to be fair, there isn't anything else you really need to add to a column chart to give it any more meaning other than adding the values at the top of each of the destination columns. It just gives the better definition of what these columns are instead of having to manually read them from the y-axis here on the left hand side. So that's how you add values, and again, once you're finished, you can just close this area by clicking on the X, or remember, you can use this method. Click on the plus, click on data labels, go across and choose the position, or you can use, remember, right click, you must right click on top of one of the columns or one of the series, and again you go to format data labels, and it should bring you again back to this area, so where you tick the relevant labels that you want to appear on your chart. So in this case, again, you can see value has been already ticked, so we're happy with that. We don't really need to do anything, and that has added the relevant values to our chart, or labels, I should say, labels been added to our chart. So in this case, this particular label, they are values. So that's overall how you add values to a pie chart and a column chart. Now the final part of the question is to change the leads sector to red. On the pie chart this is, so I'm going to go to the distance worksheet. Now in the pie chart, by default, Excel chooses different colors for you. Now you may not like a particular color. Let's say leads is red. Let's say you don't like red, or another color. I'm just going to use this as an example. I've actually already changed this, to be honest. That's why you can see leads is already red. So I'm going to change leads to another color, let's say yellow. So I'm going to change leads to yellow, but only leads. I'm going to leave every other segments as they are. So the way to do this is you select the chart by clicking on it once. When you click on the chart once, you can see the entire pie has been selected by these little dots. That's how you know that each segment of the pie has been selected. But we don't want to select the entire segments of the pie. We only want leads. So what I need to do is click on leads one more time. And by doing so, you can see that only now the leads segment is selected. And now to finish it off, I go to chart tools at the top. Now remember, there are two tabs, design and format. This time I'm going to use the format tab because under there is an option in the shape styles group. Here is an option for you to fill that segment in with whatever color you wish. So you click on the arrow and you can choose any color you like. I said, as an example, instead of red, I'm going to choose yellow. So when I click on yellow, you can see now red has been converted or changed into yellow. So this is how you change the color of the segments of a pie chart. And you can do the same procedure with every single one of these segments. Let's say you don't like all these colors that Excel has given you, or you have a particular theme for a firm you're working for or something. You can change them to those colors just by selecting them, or even two at a time. If you wanted both of them to be the same color, it's not a good idea. I wouldn't recommend that. Each segment of the pie ideally should be a different color. So if you, by selecting one at a time and then changing the relevant color of your choice, is the best way to go. And this concludes this lesson, because we've covered everything in this lesson. Happy with that. Lovely pie chart with all the relevant labels that we need. This pie chart now does make sense to us. We can understand it and be able to explain it to somebody else if this was presented to a group or another person. Similarly, this mileage chart as well, which is showing the destination distance, but in a column chart, again, can be explained and demonstrated to somebody without having to remember. Graphs or charts, they should be standalone. You should be able to explain your graph on its own without having to refer to the data source at all. Graph, they have to be meaningful on their own. And this brings us to the end of this lesson. So I hope you've enjoyed the lesson. So please do like and share, and subscribe to our channel if you have not done so, and I shall see you over in the next lesson. So until then, please do take care of yourself, and goodbye.